I want to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land upon which this video is filmed and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I also want to start by saying thank you to everyone who participated in the consultation activities. The information that we gained allowed Chris and I to get some really great insights into NMBA, both its current state and the potential future direction. So this is the second in a series of short videos that we are providing you with as a key way of communicating information, and this is meant to complement the written information and updates that we provide. This particular video will focus on what to expect at the upcoming strategic planning workshop. So the strategic planning workshop will be held on Thursday the 11th of August between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. So it will take the place of the monthly board meeting, and it will be facilitated by Chris and I from the Van Diemen project. So we've separated the agenda for the strategic planning workshop into 4 key areas for us to focus on. The first of those will focus on establishing the NMBA's future focus. So there's 2 objectives that we've established that we want to achieve through this particular section. So it all relates back to those 2 key decisions that are outlined in the background briefing paper. So how should NMBA be positioned in the broader economic development ecosystem, and what is the future role of the NMBA board? So we'll have quite a detailed conversation about that, and the intention is that by the end of that session we've all got a very clear idea about what the future looks like in relation to those 2 key decisions. The second section is establishing the future vision and purpose for the NMBA. So we could not have done this particular activity without focusing on those 2 key decision areas. And what we're looking to get from this section in the agenda is enough information that Chris and I can take away the content that we've gained and develop after the workshop a vision and purpose statement that we can then present back to the board and the staff. We're definitely not looking to do wordsmithing or get right down into the detail around exactly how that reads. It's all about getting the intent and purpose behind the vision and purpose drawn out from the board and staff that are there. The third area focuses on the values. So this is really about helping Chris and I to understand what it is about NMBA that makes it different and unique, and what values should the association have as a foundation so that they can achieve the strategic goals moving into the next 5 years. And the fourth section, this is time permitting, is really to start to look at the strategic action areas that will sit within the strategic plan. So by this stage in the workshop, we will have something fairly well shaped up there. So this is a point in time where we sit back and we reflect on what it's starting to look like, and to start to see if there's any big ideas that we may not have adequately captured in any of those strategic action areas that are starting to emerge. Some tips in terms of preparing. So the background briefing paper is quite a large document, so we do recommend that you take the appropriate amount of time to read, review and process that document. You may need to come back to it a couple of times, and you may need to take some notes. Obviously everyone works in their own way, but just make sure that you're giving it the time that to allow it the processing and the thinking to go along with it. You're also more than welcome to look at other strategic plans to get any inspiration about what you do and don't like, to start to shape your thinking about what you would like to see in NMBA's strategic plan. So we are trying to get a fair bit done within the 2-hour time frame that we've allowed. So it is really important that we do stick to time and stay as focused as we possibly can throughout the workshop. So in order to support that, we've developed some ground rules. The ground rules shouldn't really be much of a surprise to anyone. I don't think there's anything in there that's terribly earth-shattering. What we do want is that everyone is mentally present and actively listening and participating in the workshop. So it's really important that we pop phones or anything else that might cause other distractions to the side. We want to make sure that everyone's opinion matters and is heard equally. No such thing as stupid questions or ideas. That's not what this is about. We want to make sure that we're focusing on problems and problem solving, not people that may be involved in that. We obviously want to encourage some active debate and make sure that everyone participates in that debate if they want to. So what we don't want to see is lots of people coming up to us after the workshop and expressing an opinion that probably should have been expressed throughout the conversation in the workshop itself. We want to make sure that we stay at a strategic level, so we don't want to go down into the weeds and into the detail too much. So making sure that we're sort of future orientated and future focused and strategic. Obviously, we want to be respectful of each other so that we can all be creative and contribute. And I'll be quite carefully trying to keep us as focused as possible. So if anything does come up that is not related to the objectives that we are there to achieve, then I will pop that across to the side and you can pick that up at a later date. So that's it from us in this particular video. If there's any questions or anything that you do want to discuss prior to the workshop, just flick them through to Gordon. It may mean if there's anything in particular that we need to unpack further, then we can do that in a video or send out some kind of communication. Until then, just know that we're pretty excited about this workshop, actually, both Chris and I, and also really excited about the outcomes. So see you all in a couple of weeks.